Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're going to finally take a look at Cooler Master products after quite some time. I don't know if it was from Case Mod World Series 2019 or was it something else that I reviewed, but it took a couple of years to get back on the horse with Cooler Master and to have their products back on the channel for regular videos that might be interesting for some of you guys. And to start it off, today we're going to talk about their AIO. This is Cooler Master MasterLiquid 240 Atmos with two 120mm addressable RGB fans and a quite interesting pump block top. Now, of course, I had to do some special build, not a custom build as per usual, but quite interesting build, and you'll see that when I review the case as well. But today we're going to just take a look at the Atmos 240 and I'm going to give you some insights and of course some benchmarks. I'm not going to do benchmark on the 7900X 3D because I think it might be a bit funny comparing it to a 360 radiator, since I have loads of benchmarks with the AMD 7900X 3D and the 360 radiators. So we're going to do it with the AMD Ryzen 5 7600X. I know it doesn't make much difference when we're talking about AMD platform and stuff like that, but regardless of that, we have this cooler right here today. So features and specifications, what do you need to know? It's compatible with all Intel and AMD sockets except for the 20XX and the Threadripper. Water block dimensions are 84.9 times 81 times 53.15 millimeters. Radiator dimensions are 277 times 119.6 times 27.2, and the dimensions of the fans, well, the thickness is 25 millimeters. So what you can expect from the Radiator Plus fans is 52.2 millimeters of thickness. Radiator material is aluminium. Now for the fans, we have addressable Gen 2 RGB fans, two pieces. 690 to 2500 RPMs plus minus 10%. We have maximum airflow 70.7 CFM, air pressure maximum 3.61 millimeters H2O, mean time before failure is 160,000 hours, maximum noise level is 27.2 decibels, and we have loop dynamic bearing, quite interesting. 4-pin PWM connectors, and that's all there is to it. Pump mean time before failure is 210,000 hours. Noise level max 25 decibels, and 4-pin connector for your PWM connection. You have 5-year warranty, which is quite outstanding. And when we're talking about compatibility, the lights are compatible with Asus Aura Sync, Gigabyte RGB Fusion 2.0, MSI Mystic Lights, and ASRock Polychron Sync. So this is quite interesting. What you get inside the box is, of course, the radiator, pump block top, two fans, and the specific controller, which has 3 addressable RGB headers and connects to your SATA power. Why didn't I use it? Well, the case gave me some, well, not the case, actually the power supply was too big for the case, and I had to maneuver around to actually fit everything. 240 radiator, the power supply, because it's really big comparing to the case, and the graphic card. So yeah, but I'll get to that part when I review the case and what will be interesting for you to know about the dimension, size, compatibility, and everything else. Now when we're talking about placement, since I placed it on AM5 sockets, it's quite simple. You remove the original plastic brackets on it, place 4 standoffs, that's it. That's all that you have to do. You have to place 2 brackets, one on each side of the pump block top, and tie them up with 2 screws on each side. And later on you have already, let's say, a sticker on the cold plate, which has some sort of hexagons, and then you apply thermal paste on it and you spread it all over the, let's say, that sticker. When you're done and when you see that the thermal paste is evenly covering those holes, those hexagons, you just remove the sticker and you have equal appliance of the thermal paste on the cold plate. So after that you place that pump block top on your processor and tie it up with 4 thumb screws. That's all that you have to do. It's a good thing that for the AMD it has 4 contacts instead of regular 2 contacts from the original plastic standoffs, because it gets a better contact to your processor and better cooling, so that's outstanding. Now when we're talking about the design of the pump block top, it's quite interesting and it really does look quite nice, a bit different I do have to say, but I have to admit I really love the design. Now the installation process is quite easy. And with the fans already pre-attached to the radiator, it's really a hassle-free installation. Place it on the top and just reroute the cables. The cool thing with the AIO, you get a two-way splitter for your PWM for the fans, and the fans are daisy chainable when it comes to addressable RGB, including the pump, so you can connect literally everything all together to two cables at the end. So yeah, quite straightforward. You can either connect it to your controller and control it through their application, or you can control it directly through the motherboard software, which is more hassle-free and less applications on your PC. But it's all up to you to decide. If you really prefer additional effects, you'll go with the controller, of course, and use their special effects for the addressable RGB and do wonders with it as you wish and as you desire. A couple of things that I still need to mention when we're talking about features and specs. We have an eco-friendly packaging. Now this is a 30% less packaging than your standard MasterLiquid 240, and the most important thing is that it has a patented dual chamber pump, which definitely boosts the performance and makes the flow a bit different comparing to the standard pumps that they had before. And this brings us to the point where it cools and gives you better performance. Now also there's one more thing, the pump block top cover, yeah, is customizable, and you can do it with 3D printing, of course. So this gives you an option to customize it as you wish. If you have some sort of a 3D models, or you can download it from their website, you can do it yourself, and this is quite cool. As you can see, we have it here in the Cooler Master Cube 500, and I didn't place any fans at the bottom. I'll explain that later in that video for the Cube 500. Now you know what the case is going to be. But this is it. We have one exhaust and we don't have an intake. That's a shame. That's a shame, because it would definitely lower the thermals, and that's for sure. So my suggestion is to place two fans at the bottom. So regardless of that, we have some performance graphs that needed to be checked. So here we go. AIDA 64 Extreme Edition, CPU went up to 82 degrees Celsius. If you place two fans at the bottom, you'll get most likely a nice intake, because the legs did raise the Cube 500 from the table surface, and this will give you a nice intake from the part the air goes next to the GPU. So the clock speed 5450 megahertz, and the GPU, well, it's only relevant. We'll get to that part when we discuss the case. Now Cinebench R23, this is interesting. Apart from the thermals going from 80, 81, 82 and then sticking to 83 through whole 10 tests, we have consistency. And as I already stated in a couple of past videos, this is important. 5375 megahertz, and then everything else, all other 9 benchmarks, 5350 megahertz, which is definitely great because it has that fixture, it has that stability, and it stays that way. And we can see that from Cinebench points, because the first benchmark was 14,746 and it stays at 14,700. It eventually drops down to 14,711, 16, and goes even up to 14,760. So in those, let's say, plus minus 30, 40 Cinebench points, that's outstanding, because I only seen a couple of AIOs performing in this way, giving the stability to the processor and consistency. Consistency, yeah, that was the word that I'm missing. So almost hitting 15,000. I did have a couple of AIOs that did with 7600X hit 15,000 Cinebench points. They either had a thicker radiator or it was a 360. So yeah, but with the 240 and 7600X, these scores are outstanding, and I do have to say, keeps the processor stable and nice performance. So guys, what can I say? The pump block top looks incredible. The patented dual chamber pump is a great addition to the new AIO, which brings us to the point where it performs much better. So there's that. We have two clips for the tubes, which I totally forgot to mention, because If you don't have such tight space like I have in Cube 500, and you have, let's say, a bit bigger case, then you'll most likely rearrange the tubes quite nicer than I did in the Cube 500. But regardless of that, the AIO is outstanding. It really does perform, quite easy mounting, and 4-point locking mechanism for your AMD processors, which brings us to the point that it cools much better. Guys, I'll place the links below for the Cooler Master MasterLiquid 240 Atmos AIO in the description, and I'll even add the Cooler Master Cube 500, even though you'll see that video quite shortly during this week, or maybe even at the beginning of the next one. That'll be all for today, guys. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, click the notification bell, and see you very soon. Bye bye.